What's up, everybody, and welcome to BioS3 Raw TV. Well, the summer is right around the corner. We're already in April. We're heading to the end of April. Before you know it, summer will be here. The barbecues will be here. 4th of July is here. All the fucking pool parties and shit that are going on in Vegas. Everything's going to be popping off. And what you don't want to be is that person that decided they weren't going to diet till too late, or they weren't going to start their program till too late, their summer shape-up. So we're going to do the 2018 summer shape-up. And we're going to go over some basics, all right? So hopefully this will give you guys some tools, because there's a lot of people that contact me all the time, and literally they're trying one way to do something, right? And they're trying to make it fit, and they're trying to figure out why it doesn't fit. And it's like, well, your genetics are just not responding to that shit. So you have to find out another way. And when they go, well, what are the other ways? I'm like, fuck, like, okay, fine, let's just outline them, right? So today I think what we'll do is we're just going to stick with diet. So we'll do like diet in this one, we'll do training in the next one, we'll do cardio in the next one, we'll do supplements in the next one, okay? So basic outlines to help you guys out so you can get in the best shape that you've ever been in 2018 for this summer. Now, here's the thing. You're going to want to give yourself, honestly, in my personal opinion, these 4-week crash diets and stuff like that, if you're already close to being in shape, work out pretty well. But if you've got, 15 pounds, 20 pounds to lose, you're going to need a little bit of time. So you're looking like 8 to 10 weeks, my personal opinion, of dieting, which is going to take you through May, June, so to the beginning of July. And then from now to July, if you started now, it'd take you to the beginning of July, which then you could try to do like a maintenance phase through July. And, many people by the time they get to August are kind of just don't give a fuck anymore. After July, it seems like, I don't know if summer's over, but like the big parts of the summer over, like the 4th of July and the parades and all that shit like that. So make sure you give yourself enough time, first of all, right? So that you're not trying to crash into it and you wind up depleting too much and strung out and you don't look healthy, you don't look good, you don't look fit, you don't have the look that you want to look in the summer. Now, that being said, diet-wise, so fats and proteins, to me, everybody has a certain amount that they can use. Now, some people respond better to fats, some people respond better to low fats, some people respond better to moderate protein, some people need a fuck ton of protein. It's just how it goes. There's no formula out there or rhyme or reason as to why somebody's body reacts the way it does to some of this shit. They're just not. So you basically have to do some sort of experimentation. And here's the kicker. It could take you 15 years of fucking around and experimenting with this shit, and you still might not find the ideal combination for your body, because your body changes and adapts. So as you're changing and adapting your diet, your body's also changing and adapting. So what's going to take carbohydrates first? I think that's the most misunderstood one. I think people feel like you either have to go extremely high carbs or eating like 400 grams of carbs a day, or zero carb diet. I think they're both ends of the spectrum is pretty much where people go. They're like, yo, I got to get in shape for the summer. Drop my carbs to zero today. Boom, done. It's not even like a keto diet. They just drop carbs to zero. I'm not eating carbs, or I'm not eating carbs after 7. Like, carbs seem to be the bad guy, not so much fat anymore. So we'll start out with the obvious high carb diet. Now, different people will be able to eat 400, 500, 100 grams of carbs, and they're still going to get lean. They're still going to be lean. If you're one of those people, you don't really need to watch this video, because you literally can pretty much eat whatever you want and you're going to stay lean. You're one of those people. Now, high carb diet, one of those people, take that, put it aside, and especially the people that are, training with weights, that are out there fucking killing it in the sun, you got a job outside, in the summertime and stuff like that, you are going to need to eat more carbohydrates to fuel your daily activities, okay? So it's going to vary from person to person, and one person might think, for me personally, 350 to 400 grams of carbs is a lot. That would be high for me, not for the average person, or just for me. Now, I've seen people that eat 700 grams a day, they're still losing weight, right? So it's going to vary so much. So my personal opinion is, whether or not carbs are good for your body. Like, if you bloat up like a fucking balloon and you have a hard time losing fat, carbs are probably not your friend, right? So you're going to start out, I'd say, with a moderate somewhere, which for me, moderate, 250, 200 grams of carbs, somewhere around there. And you're going to have to adjust and figure out from there where you need to go for the next steps. Now, leading from high carb into the next phase, and I do use all of these phases. So I think also a lot of people go, I'm on a keto diet, I'm on a carb cycling, I'm on high carb. You can use all of them. Okay, they're all tools in a toolbox, and they're there for you to use at different points when you need to use them. You're not stuck with one way, okay? And so despite what some other trainers and coaches might say, you're not stuck with the only way to do it. You can move it in phases where you're eating a high carb diet, carb cycling. And there's multiple ways to carb cycle. You can do high, medium, and low. You can do low during the week, high on the weekends. You can do, too low followed by a high, too low followed by a high. I mean, there's so many ways to do it. Again, it's going to be your personal preference and how fast your body depletes. So there's some people you take carbohydrates away from, within a day they're feeling it, right? Some people the first day they don't feel it. The second day they're feeling it. Other people the third day they're feeling it. So you're going to have to judge it based on how your body reacts when you start making these moves and making the decision to start changing your carbs around. So you go from high carb to carb cycling to low carb, right? There's the low carb diet. Now a lot of people think low carb is zero carb. Okay, that's not necessarily true. To me, low carb would be like 100 grams of carbs a day roughly. That's low for me, and I feel it. Like I feel my energy, I'm drained, I don't feel good. I feel it. So for you, it may be 75 grams. For you, it may be 200 grams. Again, it just depends on who you are and how your body reacts and what your body weight is, what your training like, what your daily activities are, what your basal metabolic rate is. And, it's going to vary from person to person so much. There are no formulas, guys. There are no formulas. There are no calculations that can give you an exact answer as to what you're supposed to be doing. So you have to experiment. Now, you have to start somewhere, right? So for me, I'm just telling you from my experience, 100 grams is usually pretty low for most people. So basically, if you start with 100 grams of carbs on a low carb diet, you're now on a low carb diet. And 100 grams, if you're doing IFYM and you're filling those foods with, really sugar-filled stuff, processed stuff, they're going to go quick. So on a low carb diet, like 100 grams, I prefer, and I would suggest going with the bro foods like, oatmeal, rice, potatoes, sweet potatoes, vegetables, stuff like that. That's going to give you a lot more volume of food throughout the day rather than having like, a cupcake and then having a fucking brownie and that's it for your whole day carb wise. Like your body's not going to react efficiently like that. Yeah, you'll get results, but the bottom line is eating those two little things, you're going to be a lot more hungry throughout the day and a lot more likely to break your diet if you're fucking around like that. So we go from high carb, carb cycling, low carb, and the final one, which is another tool in your toolbox, which for some reason I got known as like a keto guy, which I don't do keto year round. And I'm not sure why people latched onto me as the keto guy. Possibly when I first started doing YouTube videos, I talked about keto a lot. Like I understood it a lot. I started doing keto back in 1995 when the anabolic diet came out. Now that was a modified cycloketogenic diet, which was 5 days, no carbs, or 30 grams of carbs or less from fiber, carb up on the weekends, right? From there, I actually learned about Dan Duchaine's book called The Ultimate Diet. Not The Ultimate Diet 2.0 by Lon McDonald, The Ultimate Diet by Dan Duchaine, which was like a little pamphlet. Actually, you know what? Check this out. So some of you may or may not know what this is. This is The Ultimate Diet 2.0, and this is the late Dan Duchaine. Now, this little pamphlet, okay? This little pamphlet, you can buy like on Amazon if you can find it, or eBay or shit like that. It's like $250. Okay, literally, there's so much information in this book. Dan actually came up, this dude right here, with a way to kind of piece the workouts together with the diet on an 11-day, I believe it was a 10 or an 11-day cycle. So it's not a 7-day, it's a 10 or 11-day cycle of depleting. He even showed you where to put the cardio in. He even showed you what anabolics to take. It's all in that book. So I mean, this is, again, great reading. If you're a fan of the anabolic diet and you've read Body Opus, which is his other book, this is the one that you really want because this is the predecessor, which is the before, right? Anyways, this is the precursor to the Body Opus diet, and this is a lot more hardcore than the Body Opus diet ever was. So again, we're going to keto now. My personal opinion, and what I find throughout the years working with tens of thousands of clients since 1994 is when I started training people at 19 years old, is making sure that you're using the right fats. Many people use the saturated fats, which they digest very slowly. They're very inefficient. It's not that you can't digest them. You will digest them. But the more easily food is digestible for your body, the more efficient your body gets, the easier it is for your body to build muscle and lose fat. When you're shoving things in it that slows metabolism down, and make no mistake about it, saturated fats slow down that digestion. And while your body's trying to work doing that, it doesn't speed up metabolism everywhere else. It literally focuses on digesting that food, and it concentrates on doing that, which slows everything else down. So that's why a lot of people go, I'm not really so sure about this, ketogenic diet. Whereas if you use the poly and monounsaturated fats, you get olive oil, macadamia nut oil, almond butters, things like that, cashews, walnuts, things like that, your body's much more efficient. Okay, now, how much fat? Here's the kicker. Years ago, I found through trial and error and experiment with myself and my clients that we need much less fat than the average keto diet, and we need much more protein than the average ketogenic diet. Hard training athletes need more protein. So if you're eating a certain amount of calories on the ketogenic diet, if you bring your protein up, you can't just keep these up here, the fats. You need to bring them down so that it adjusts a little bit so that it evens out. So higher protein. Now, what is higher protein? So the biggest misconception is, and it's not a misconception, it's partially true, but the body makes glucose from the excessive protein intake, right? But here's the thing. Your body, if it doesn't have anything left after it uses it for muscles, after it uses it for hair, skin, nails, bodily functions, everything to repair, if it doesn't have anything left, it has nothing to turn to glucose. So therefore, that doesn't happen. You're not worried about glucogenesis then, right? So what you're looking at now is having your protein slightly higher, which for me, I weigh 205. So let's just throw some numbers out there just to be, vague. So if I was 205, I'd probably take in about 150, 160 grams of protein, and I would fill in the rest with my fats, and they'd come from poly and monosaturated fats, not the saturated fats. That's what I found that works really well. It's very efficient. It's just my way of doing things, and it may not be your way, and you may not like it, and that's fine. I don't give a fuck. Bottom line is, if you're looking at this video, you're looking for information because you can't figure out what to do. These may be some of the tips that you're looking for. So literally, you have all these tools in the toolbox. You have high carb. We can even go moderate carb. You can go high carb, moderate carb, low carb, and then carb cycling. Like moderate carb, let's just back up. High carb, maybe 600 grams for me. Moderate carb, maybe 400 grams. 400, maybe 300 grams for me. 100 grams for low carb, and then carb cycling would be anywhere from, whether you're doing high, medium, low days, you do high like 600, medium would be like 300, low would be 100. See how that works? Like you'd actually put them in there now. The way that you cycle them, again, depends on what you're doing, what your workouts are, how your body reacts, how long it takes you to deplete. You may have to go 4 or 5 days on low carbs before your body's fully depleted. And then you get a high carb day, you fill out, your metabolism speeds up because you're using the bro foods, which helps helps very, very much with speeding the metabolism up by not refeeding, but not cheating, not junk meals, but refeeding with those clean carbs. And then you'd go back down to low. Now, other people can never even get a high day. They'll have to go low, 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 medium, low, 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 medium. Other people, the metabolism is so fast, they're like low, medium, high. Low, medium, high. They consistently rotate those 3 days because their metabolism is so fast, they need more carbs, they need more calories. So I know that this stuff can be super complicated, and I think a lot of people try to dumb it down because they want just a definitive blueprint on what to do and say, just tell me what to do, here it is. There's no such thing, guys. There is no set blueprint. There's no one way to do things. Your body is different than everyone else's, and you have to figure it out for yourself. Now, once you've got the diet part down, we'll talk about the other stuff later, but training, cardio, supplements, all those things have to complement each other. And I keep trying to tell people that because they'll be like, Jerry, do you do diets? No, I no longer do diets. I have not done a single diet in years because the diet has to match the training. And when I was in the gym watching a client of mine, a diet client of mine that trained with another trainer, watching that person work out with them, I was like, what the fuck are they doing? No wonder why they're not getting results. They're actually not training hard enough or right for the goals that they want. So it doesn't matter what I give them for a diet. It's not going to work. So that's why I started piecing the diet, the training, the cardio, and the supplements together to work together so you get a synergy that gives you better, faster results like that, right? So be aware, guys. The diet, for me, is always the first part, right? I always sit down, figure out everything that I'm supposed to be doing, everything that's supposed to go, where it's supposed to go, make sure I got my food weighed, I get measured, I carry my food. That's the way I do it, okay? That doesn't mean that's how you have to do it. But if you're not getting results doing it your way, you might just want to try it my way. BioStrengthTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostrength.com is the blog. So try it my way, bicep, and we are out.